So we're in the middle of this really nifty coronavirus lockdown, and I figured a lot of you guys could use something a little special, something different, you know, to like. So we've got something. We're on our way to an undisclosed location, to an undisclosed individual, and see some of his undisclosed stuff, right? So everybody's got the stories about the Hemi Cuda sitting in the barn or the Z01 Camaro in the junkyard, and like old stuff pops up. It's not all that uncommon for, like, you know, a 386 Chevelle or a 382 Mustang or a 383 Super Bee here or there. You know, they built a lot of those cars. But is it possible in here, 20 years into the 21st century, that there are still rare, exotic, factory muscle cars still to be found in the wild? Ancient alien theorists say yes, and we're about to go find one. So we've arrived at our mystery destination in the middle of nowhere, and we've got our mystery friend who's going to show us the jewel of his collection over here. Come on, mystery man. So when you walk up on this thing, you don't really think much of it because, well, I mean, you know, it's just an old 63 Dodge. And even when you look at the interior, this door open? Yeah. You look at the interior, you know, it's got bucket seats, a console, right? And in this car's history, it was used as a daily driver. It was used as a street racer. It was used as like a daily driver. But the first clue happens when you get closer to that glove compartment. Kat, can you squeeze in there? See the sticker? Right. That's the warranty void sticker that they put on all Max Wedge cars. Get in a little closer. So it's faded. You can barely see it. Or barely read it, but it's there. So then you come around here. Let's go under the hood. So if you guys ever wondered how you identify a Max Wedge car, just about all the goodies are still in place. You see the hood with the bracing cut out of it, and you know it's legit because look where the dum-dum sits. If somebody had cut the bracing out, this wouldn't be here like that. So these things came from the factory. And then over here you've got these two telltale things right here. This harness clip is because the exhaust on the Max Wedge comes up like this, so they had to reroute the main harness to over here. And then also you get the brake line. Max Wedge cars have the brake line come up like this and around because, again, the exhaust fit through this area. Somewhere along the line, what is this?
68, I think.
383. Yeah, it's just a regular 383. Somebody planted that in here. And they converted it to power steering. The car had disc brakes when you got it. It's back to drums now.
They're longer there.
Right. Then also you got these other things. Max Wedge cars came with the battery in the trunk. So here are the ground cables, and you get dual ground cables. And then if you go to the other side, there's a pair of positive cables that run up along the car. And then you can see where no battery was ever mounted in the tray.
No tray.
No tray.
The other things, not to interrupt.
Yeah, what else you got?
Is the distributor wires, the electronics, had to come around the carburetors, which would be offset like this. They couldn't lay over. They'd be in the way of the linkage of carburetors on the Max Wedge intake. So there's these nylon
the wire holders.
Yeah. Come down, and now the coil wouldn't be there. The coil would be on the intake. But these wire holders come down there, and it comes over here to the alternator and distributor, where ordinarily in the big block car, this area, they would come right down the valve cover.
You got this clip here also, which I imagine would be so that the wires can come up and grab the back of the alternator.
I just don't know about that clip. I imagine you're correct, though. I would imagine. But I do know that the battery cables go into the trunk, and the clips are in the trunk along the back under the frame.
So like all Max Wedge cars had the battery in the trunk, and they ran the cables across here. You can see some of these brackets there. Well, this one's routed off the floor. but there's another one back there. So if you come across one of these things in the wild, you say, oh, is that a Max Wedge car? It's one of the things you look for.
I thought I used to see it.
What the fuck is that? I'm the guru. I'm supposed to know. It's not part of this car.
Okay. There you go. I think this is part of the car.
Yeah, that's the tray
See,
that the
the
battery
tray
sits on.
Yeah.
Plastic.
Yeah, it's rubber. We just discovered, and I didn't know was there, this is a Max Wedge swinging arm pickup with a 1/2 inch return tube. And
Of course, it's neck down to the...
It's neck down to the salt block. And I'm not sure that's right, but it looks like it's never been fooled with, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't enlarge them until they went to the Hemi block.
Well, I have I think my Max Wedge block has the enlarged one. I don't know. I'll have to look. But this was the swinging arm for the acceleration, so when this would swing to the back of the oil pan and make sure you didn't have to get our oil starvation at the acceleration, and then swing back when you went the brake on. Pretty high dollar. I think they're reproduced, but they're pretty high dollar.
I don't think that's reproduced. That's, that's a
And
rare bird right there.
great. Glad we came up with a key. Learning things all the time, and I'll be digging around there, hunting that hole I know used to be there. Is that crazy? Yeah.
Now this car came with a heater and a reader.
Yes, I've had the car certified by the current guru, and I've talked to him and emailed him.
I thought I was the current guru.
Well, I'm sorry, on Max Wedge. But you're a guru on Mopars.
Past guru.
That's right. That's right. Retired Chrysler engineer who has a list of all the Max Wedge cars ever built. And I gave him the number, and he told me what the car was. And he told me the day it was built, delivered to Grant Spalding Dodge. And he didn't know where it went after that. But he
So this came through Mr. Norm's at some point.
Mr. Norm's house. That's what he told me. Now I take his word.
Well, he's a guru.
Well, yeah, but it's a four-letter word. So he said that the car was black with a red interior, automatic, low compression Max Wedge, and told me the date of build and when it left up there. So that's how I bought it, with a wrong interior, wrong engine transmission, wrong seats, and with disc brakes on it, and it drove here. So it's a rough old car.
You've got some other parts to put this thing together.
I have all of them except a set of pistons, I think.
You got the exhaust and the...
I have the Max Wedge exhaust I've had since 1967.
Can we show our people that?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Come on, let's go inside. So tell them the story behind this intake manifold.
I found that about 30 miles from here in a junkyard. I walked in on a shelf about 6 feet above my head, 3 or 4 feet, a tall shelf. There was a strange looking intake manifold, and I recognized it. I asked the guy what it was. He says, I don't know. He says, it says 440 on it. And I said, could I look at it? He got it down for me. And it had one of the carburetors on it. And I recognized a 3447 AFB. And I said, what do you take for this? And he said, I guess $100 bill.
That is a score for you.
And then I found the guy that had it originally, and I got the other carburetor, matching carburetor. And $10 for that. And the plugs came with it but that's the original one. And I ended up with the rocker arms and the cam and a couple other pieces of choke cables out of that original Max Wedge car. And after walking into a junkyard looking for something. And that's just strange. And that's the 383 2.4 intake there beside it.
343
horsepower, 62 model. Yeah.
Yeah, we got that same setup on our 68 Roadrunner.
Yeah.
So here's something you don't see every day, and you could actually spot these from completely across the shop because there's no heat crossover. It's a pair of virgin Max Wedge heads. I'm doing this for a long time, and I have never seen a set that are as perfect as these things. I mean, no sign of any machine work ever being done to them. They're just beautiful, packed in Cosmoline. How long have you had these?
Just about a year and a half.
You scored on these. They're beautiful.
Well, the guy I got it from was a Hemi racer. Took him in on trade, had no use for him, had him on eBay. I happened to hit it, and I paid plenty for him, and all the valve gear and all new valves, and a couple sets of rockers and rocker arm stands. I forgot what all, maybe even a cam. I don't forgot what the package was. It came out. I was thrilled to get them.
You can see where even like none of the imperfections on these heads have ever been cleaned up. Like you got that little overhang right there in the exhaust port. You know, it's just they're just beautiful. I'm jealous, bro.
I hope you are.
I seriously am. I need a Max Wedge now.
You do.
I do.
Well, it's going to cost you plenty. You can't get those heads.
All right, show me more stuff.
Okay.
No more of this. Oh, there's Max Wedge goodies everywhere here. So, what's the story on the exhaust?
Well, in 1967, I had to have a car, and I bought one in sight unseen. A friend of mine that took it in a dealership trade. It was a '64 Dodge Polara 500, and he delivered it to me in Georgia when I was living. It ended up coming with a 383 and Max Wedge exhaust pipes right here. So I got them just in a used car. Of course, the car was only 3 years old when I bought it.
So this is just a regular car with a 383, and it happened to have a Max Wedge exhaust.
Happened to have a set of Max Wedge pipes. I didn't know it when I bought it. Well, he might have told me over the phone. I'd bought it sight unseen. I just had to have a car, and I was living 100 miles away from home. So that's what I drove them for years and years on that car until I took the car apart. The car eventually was a 426 street wedge with a 391 gear, and I ran these every day with mufflers that came out before, right over the rear end.
So the balance tube, here, Kat. The balance tube is missing out of these. There was, from the factory, there was a tube that went like this to tie them together.
Well, I changed the engines from a 383 to a 426. They were such a pain to deal with that balance tube that I took up the gas station up near the house and had them cut a balance tube off and weld a plate in there. And when I put it back together, I'll have to put that balance tube back in there. But I plan on using those exhausts.
So for you guys that aren't familiar with the Max Wedge exhaust, these were the cutouts. So basically the car had a full exhaust with mufflers that ran to the back of the car, and when you were going to run it, you just uncap these things and there's the open exhaust. They don't make stuff like that anymore.
No, they work very well, and those people those racers took them off right away because you lost about 60 or 70 pounds, or maybe it was 80. I forgot the name. They're 60 or 80 pounds heavier than a set of tube headers, so they got thrown away. Lots of them just got thrown away, and this car, being only 3 years old, would not have been usual to have those on a Mopar guy's car. It could probably be given to them back then, you know.
Awesome stuff. So what are you going to do with they make the reproductions for these now?
Yeah, but if these are suitable and I've had them sandblasted and just even a little patchy, and I'll use. I'm sure the top parts are, but these tubes the lower tubes might be a little rusty.
Yeah,
those will not, that's the real weight there, isn't it?
You know, they're not as heavy as you would think. You know, looking at it, you'd say, well, there's a bunch of cast iron there, right? But they're actually relatively thin wall. So I'd say that only weighs maybe about as much as a standard HP manifold.
Yeah, but that's heavier instead of headers.
Oh yeah, it's heavier than headers. But nothing's cooler than that.
Nothing.
Nothing. So mystery friend, like cool stuff abounds. I said of Max Wedge valve covers, and you can always tell the early valve covers because they have 4 bolts like the Chevy, whereas the later ones have the outboard bolt holes. So, but tell us about, okay, and here's a legit Max Wedge. This is the same as a Hemi too, race Hemi, 64, 65 race Hemi. Mechanical, I can say this, mechanical tack drive dual point distributor. And you know, these are around. These pop up every now and then, but these don't. That's the actual tack that goes along with it. That's a nice piece.
And I don't think that tack, it came with the car. I don't think a tack came with a Max Wedge car. I mean, the distributor did with a tack drive, probably.
I'm sure it was optional because they had, you know. But this thing right here, right? So this is even before my time. This is
almost before my time.
Extremely cool stuff. Explain to the people what this thing is.
Well, as I understand this, when I was involved in drag racing with my neighbor, and I can't read that, what it says, there's a label on it, I can't see those letters, you know. But that's what we used to call a Vari-Cam. And you could, with the engine together, without taking the timing chain cover off, you could put an Allen wrench in a hole in your timing chain cover and adjust your timing by degrees by turning these Allen screws would turn and adjust your timing to for retarding advance on drag racing.
Right, so basically this is fixed to the cam itself and the gear is floating on that. If you want to advance the cam, let's just say, you would loosen one side, move it, and then tighten the other side, and it would change the orientation of the cam to the gear. So that's, what's it say on the bottom here? Trick Race Car Products. This is before my time. That's the first time I've ever seen one of those.
Well, I'd say this, for my age and when I got involved in drag racing, I'd say this is 1966, 7, right in there, 64.
So, mystery friend, what are you going to do with this relic?
I've got 15 cars fixed. This, I don't know where this priority is. It's pretty high priority.
I would think.
I've been gathering parts since the 60s. And just last year I found a Max Wedge block in North Carolina. And it was, but it's, I built 8 months before this car, which was within the time frame of, they seasoned the blocks, you know.
Right.
And let them, and then, so I had to find the block because I lost the block that came with the car. And I've gotten a crankshaft. And all I lack is pistons. I guess maybe a cam. I've got a cam somewhere.
Well, there's actually, you got 7 of 8 back here, so we really need one.
Well, I'd probably, my block is bored 35 over. And I'm sure it's $1,000 to have good pistons made. And I'll just go with 11, 11.5 to 1, you know, what it's supposed to have. I wouldn't want any more to do that with the gasoline, you know. But I want to restore it. I have a rotisserie, and I want to go in the rotisserie and do it right. And it'll probably cost $20,000 to build it, and I don't know if that's worth it. I don't think the car is worth a lot. Well, it depends what a lot is to everybody. But.
Well, I mean, I would say, Uncle Kathy, you're an expert at this sort of thing.
I'm not.
You're
no,
a price
I don't.
guru.
Honestly, I don't know pricing on that right now.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't looked at that stuff in a while.
I would imagine this, you know, rotisserie stored. I mean, it has to be a $75,000 car.
It may have been at one time. I just don't know. I see them priced at that. I don't know what they sell for.
Well, when do you think you're going to start working on it? Because we want to definitely come back and.
Well, within 18 months anyway, I hope.
Okay. Yeah, we'll come back and we'll check up on our progress of this thing.
That'd be great. Continued success with your YouTube venture.
Ah, thank you. Well, thanks for the tour.
Good to see you.
You too. Well, there you go. You never know what you're going to find in a random undisclosed location owned by an unidentified mystery guy. You got to get out there and shake the trees a little bit. You got to look a little past the surface. What looks like just an old, decrepit Dodge. She's an old, decrepit Dodge. Just might turn out to be a factory race car. That's it. I'll see you tomorrow.